What's up, guys? How are you today? This is episode 14. Can't believe I already got to 14. This little project that started at the PGA show as an idea at 2 o'clock in the morning has now turned into a full-fledged show, and it's blowing up. So I'm really excited. This week, I have a good friend of mine. It's my friend Steve from OnCore. I've known Steve for, I don't know, probably over a year now. We met through Instagram and we hit it off. And little did I know he's the co-founder. Surprise. So I bugged Steve about a month ago. I was like, hey, can you be on the show? And he's like, sure. So this week I have my good friend Steve from OnCore, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on, Paul.
I love your background. Where are you at right now? You at the office?
We're in downtown Buffalo, New York. Yeah, we're at our offices. We moved in to these offices about a year ago and got some nice plants behind me. Got a little hitting net off to my right.
I can see it, yeah.
Used to be an old trouser factory, like turn of the century.
Oh, it's badass.
So it's got phenomenal light and open space, hardwood floors. Pretty nice spot.
It looks really cool. Like, that's probably the coolest looking office I've seen. That looks really similar to True Link Square just opened up a new office in Seattle, and that it looks not the same but similar, like, because it's old warehouse, close to the water, but like it looks really cool. I don't know. I'm jealous. I wish I was there.
I could come visit.
I'm someday. I'm going to. So, where were you guys at before? Was it like an office complex or something, or where were you before you moved?
We were down the street. It was a building called the Innovation Center, and it was on the medical corridor. So kind of an area that's been built up over the last few years to attract medical personnel to Buffalo, and our hospitals are there. But it was a building, a lot of startups in there. There was a incubator on the first floor for 43 North, which is a big business plan competition that's held here in Buffalo every year. So it had a good energy, but we just kind of outgrew the space and needed our own digs.
No, that's cool. I like it. It looks awesome. So what I always do, and like when I first talk to a brand, I always ask them, like, hey, like, I don't really know I know what the brand is, but I don't know the person I'm talking to on the phone. And I'm really trying to feel them out, right? Like, hey, is this going to be a good conversation? Are they cool? Are they weird? So I always ask them, hey, what's the story? What's your story, or how'd you get to where you're at, or whatever. But so I guess my first question today is, like, how did OnCore come about? I mean, I've read about it, I've talked about it, but like, tell me the story of OnCore to where you are today. So I think it's so fascinating.
Yeah. So my co-founder and I were introduced to the hollow metal core technology that Doug Dufault, our engineer, had developed with three of his engineer buddies. And Doug's a serial entrepreneur, inventor, but he wasn't really interested in focusing on the marketing, the sales, the business side of launching his innovation. And I had played golf at college at NYU, and Brett was in marketing, international marketing. We were both living in New York City, and so we were introduced to the technology. I was working in finance at the time for Deutsche Bank, and kind of looking to transition out of that world. And Brett was looking for a change as well, and we both kind of had the entrepreneurial bug and spirit, and put together a business plan and got some early capital to kind of get the wheels turning, get the idea of this technology that was really different and unique, but it needed to be built. We needed to manufacture it. So that was kind of how we got started. Was just a belief that we could turn something cool, some really unique technology into a business and into a golf brand that had sustainability and that had a lot of upside in the world of golf.
So what year was that?
So that was kind of the late 2000s. And then around 2012, we moved the company to Buffalo, and that's kind of when we were full-time on it. But we had started it a few years prior, and we're negotiating, trying to get the IP and figure out the ownership structure.
The business side of it, because you had something very cool and innovative, and you're like, okay, we got to protect this before it goes out in the market. And make sure the deal's set up correctly. That's
Yep.
a business mind right there. I mean, I do it all the time. Like that's my normal job. But like even when I do deals with people, I'm like, no, 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 we're gonna do the deal. We're gonna do it on paper first. We're gonna figure this out because you're gonna not in this. Oh, we'll figure it out later on because I've done that before. It's like no, we'll figure it out now because that just trust me. We'll know if this is gonna work or not. Like that's so. Then you're you're just like buddies from college. Is that how you guys knew each other from NYU or what? From golf or how'd you know your
So
co-founder?
yeah, a few of my mutual buddies on the golf team at NYU were from Buffalo. They actually knew Brett, my business partner, before I did, and then Brett kind of came into our circle of friends, and
That's so
we were
cool.
all we were all golfers, and so that was kind of how we first met.
That's awesome. I mean, that's how it is. Like, any brands I've heard that's same. It's very similar. Where it's like people somehow get connected in a very small world into like, oh, you're from the East Coast or you're from wherever. You become part of that crew and finds out that and what you guys do is golf. Or that's kind of like that was the initial starter. So then once you got all that figured out, what like didn't you guys have to like I don't know if anybody knows about OnCore because pretty much OnCore is probably one of the most innovative brands in golf, like honest to God. And I say that sometimes with other brands, but I'm being serious because like they've redefined the ball, right? The balls have changed what 2 times in 100 years, right? Dimples and what OnCore just did with their technology, which we'll talk about in a little bit. So I mean, when you guys started, you got your IP figured out and it got approved. Like you had some challenges, right? Like you had to get it approved, right, by the USGA.
Yeah, that process took a few years. We initially submitted the golf ball to the USGA, the hollow metal core ball, and within a few weeks we had a rejection letter.
Denial. Nope.
We started reading the letter, obviously, and they hadn't even tested the ball. So there's 5 metrics that they test for, and that's total distance, initial velocity, symmetry, diameter of the golf ball, and weight. So we had met all those quantifiable metrics. So other than the ball kind of looking different on the inside, we were confused as to why it wasn't conforming and why they didn't even bother to test it. But
Yeah,
we
you're like, wait a minute, why did you guys testing this stuff? Like, I don't want to go into reasons why you guys thought it because I think the listeners and myself are already kind of trying to figure it out. But I mean, I would call BS right there. I'd be like, come on, really?
yeah, and that's kind of what we did in a formal manner. And
Of course.
they have a review process, so you get to submit an appeal to the Equipment Standards Committee, and they rejected that appeal. And then we had one appeal that we could submit to the Executive Standards Committee, which is the executive board. And we made our case and said, well, while the technology is new, these materials have been used in the past in golf balls, just not in our particular formulation or architecture
Yeah.
of the core. So fortunately, they gave us the approval,
That's
and
awesome. This should be like a movie. I feel like this would be like a really cool golf movie. I don't know. I sound kind of a nerd, but it'd be kind of cool. Be like, here's Steve in college, and then like it goes to you meeting Brett, and then it's like this idea and the engineering behind it, and then the fight. I don't know. It's just a cool story. I think it's a cool story.
yeah, no, it's kind of a underdog David versus Goliath
Well, that's
story
what
that
you are, right? I mean,
that right.
you're a disruptive technology that came into a market that's been pretty solidified for 50 years, right? Like, and you're new.
Yep. Yeah,
And just
you know we've got a long journey ahead of us, but we've made a lot of progress. And as you've mentioned, the technology and the products are just top class.
oh, they really are. I mean, seriously. Like,
We've come a long way from our early designs and learned a lot. Each new ball we came out with, we learned what we did right, what we did wrong, and we're able to improve and just always getting better.
well, it's like you have a dream team, right? Like you put like everyone has a skill, and then like that's what makes it work, right? Or you would if it would never like if nobody had their specific skill, then you wouldn't have been able to one get to market, right? Because that was a hard process already as it is. But then you're also bringing in a new technology that's never been used before in that capacity, in that full capacity.
Yep. Yeah, it's a team effort for sure. I mean, we wouldn't none of us could have done this on our own.
What year was that? Then when you finally got approved by the USGA?
Got a faulty memory.
That's all right. We
I
all
want to
do.
say it was around 2014.
So once you were approved, how long did it take you to get to market, and how'd you get into market? PGA show.
So it was kind of trial and error early on. We had a manufacturer we were working with stateside, and we supplied the design and the materials, but we ultimately weren't really happy with that product. So we ended up teaming up with the second largest manufacturer in the world, and we design everything here in Buffalo, and then we've got a few of our engineers in South Carolina and other parts of the United States. So, we had some false starts. The first ball we launched, the hollow metal core ball, it was about 30% straighter with the perimeter weighting technology, but it felt hard as a rock, and we lost a bit of distance.
Interesting.
So, that was all part of that early.
Back to the drum. Yeah, like it's just refining. It's like the process.
Your growing pains.
Yeah.
And fortunately, we were able to, keep iterating and innovating, and got to a point where we attracted one of the lead golf ball engineers over the last 3 decades, John Calabria, and he's built probably every golf ball you've ever played for Titleist and Maxfly and TaylorMade. So having his industry expertise combined with Doug, who built was super out of the box with that original hollow metal core design, combined with Keith, our chairman and CEO, who's a nanotechnology, advanced materials kind of background. And then we've got chemists.
So freaking cool. It's like a Silicon Valley startup, right? For a golf ball. And then you have all this experience coming behind it.
Yeah, the initial team was aeronautics, automotive, nuclear, nano. So everything under the sun but golf. And then bringing on John Calabria, who had the industry, materials and expertise, and kind of knew where everyone's patents were, and
knew the lines.
That combination is certainly what makes us unique.
So then, what was the name of that first ball? So I only know the balls you have now.
We had the Omen, the Evo, and the MA 1.0, and the Caliber. Those were all hollow metal core golf balls.
So now there's 2 balls. Well, there's 3 balls, right? But we'll talk about it later. So then, what came next? Then, what was like the ball? Wasn't because the Elixir just came out last year, right?
The Elixir's been out for a few years now.
Oh, not the Elixir. What's the one I was thinking of?
And so we had the Avant ball just before that, which was super soft, low compression ball, which that was a 65 compression. We now have the Avant 55. So that's 55 compression, great distance, great feel. And then the Elixir came out shortly after that, which was our first tour ball. We incorporated the idea of perimeter weighting, but instead of using the hollow metal core, we used the metal powder in the mantle layer. So gives it, phenomenal forgiveness. And
so advanced. It's insane. So when I talk to people, like they're like, "Oh, have you tried the OnCore ball?" And I'm like, "Yeah, of course I have. I've been working with them for like a year." They're like, "I've heard it's really good." I'm like, "Yeah, you should get some. They're freaking sick." Like, I literally talked to them about that the other day, and then like, "Well, so and so, I know so and so is gonna get me one or get me a box." I was like, "That's cool. You should just get one. They're really cool." Like, I don't know. I think I love innovation. I love it. I like the new stuff that's coming out that's like bucking the trend. Right? Because it's pretty easy to see what the trend's been. The trend sells, right? Don't get me wrong. But when something's really innovative and I don't know, and it works better, like it really does, then you're like, look, this is what we can do now. It's not just the club that's going to give you more distance or a better shot. It's the ball, and it's not the same ball you're used to using. I don't know. It's kind of cool.
And then a few weeks ago, we launched our new little show and tell Vero
Oh, it's
X1,
awesome.
our latest tour ball. And I know we've got some at your doorstep. So hopefully you'll get to unbox
Oh,
and
that's
play.
going to happen. I'm telling you, that's already going to happen. So then with the Vero, which I didn't even know what the name of it was until now, because I haven't opened the box. So when was that released? Like a couple weeks ago?
2 weeks
Uh,
ago.
2 weeks ago. The thing looks cool. So tell me about the Vero. What makes that different than the Elixir and the Avant?
So it's a little thinner cast urethane cover, which allowed us to really expand that mantle layer, which gives it even more perimeter weighting. And it's the thinner cover will give you more green side spin. It's a little higher launching off the driver than the Elixir. The spin numbers are lower, and for the higher swing players, the Vero X1 is going to be their ball. For the slower swing speeds, they might prefer the Elixir. So the Elixir is not going anywhere. It's you can almost consider it our Elixir X version, but
That's
because
cool.
it is a different construction and design, we had to come up with a new name. So it's the Vero X1.
So let's play a game. So if I was a beginner golfer, right, or high handicapper, then my ball would be I would think the Avant, right? Or do you say Elixir?
I would say so. There's advice out there to play the best ball you can afford to play.
Yeah,
So, which is kind of contradicts you hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, you're not good enough to play that ball." Whatever the ball may be, but the tour quality golf balls are going to give you a more premium cover, which gives you more of that spin around the greens. So oftentimes it is the beginners that really need help with that. But with that said, if they're losing a lot of golf balls, they might not want to spend, a lot of
fifty
money on
dollars for a box. They're gonna
it.
be
So for $20, the Avant is a great ball.
hell yeah.
Going to launch a little higher on the wedges, which does help, stop the ball in the greens for beginners too. Great distance, great feel. So we usually do recommend that for beginner golfers and slower swing speeds as well.
And then the Elixir is more of like a mid handicapper who needs a little bit of compression. And I guess I'd say like from what you're telling me is I'd probably use the Elixir most likely. And if I was better, I could probably use the new ball. You know what I mean? Or maybe not. Maybe it depends on how it plays. But that's generally I would probably be thinking.
Yeah, I think it's a toss up between the Elixir and the Vero X1. If you're in the category,
If you're somewhere in there, you should see what you like, but see what feels. That's the thing about balls, right? Like you can't be like everyone thinks, oh, like I'll be on, like I'll be straight. I don't like the Pro V1. I could never hit it ever. Like I know they're amazing balls, blah blah blah. I've always lose them. I hit them like crap, so I don't even use them at all. Right? I just don't buy them. But I've actually been hitting the Elixir now for about 6 months since I started using it, playing more. I like the Elixir. I feel like it's good for me. But I mean, I'm going to try out the Vero because maybe it's a little bit extra edge that I need that will help my game.
Yeah, and every golfer's different.
Exactly.
Some might prefer, the Elixir over the Vero, and maybe the higher swing guys, and gals might like the Vero X1 more for their game based on their particular playing characteristics. How they spin a ball, how they flight it.
Exactly.
It's good to test them.
So what are the price points of each of the balls so everybody kind of understands?
So right now, the Avant's at 24 a dozen, the Elixir's at 35 a dozen, and the Vero X1's at 39.99.
Those are good price points.
Our plan when we launched the new ball, the Vero, was to lower the Elixir in the Avant to 29.99 for the Elixir from 35, and 19.99 from 24 on the Avant. So
So that's the plan, like in a couple months.
Less than that. We're
Yeah.
planning on implementing that new pricing in the next few days. So
That's cool.
you'd have the Avant at basically $20.
two really good sweet spots, right, for balls. Because I mean, I know I can think of your competitors that are like at 1999, but they don't have that technology, right? Like it's a cheaper ball. I'm not saying it's a cheaper, crappier ball. I mean, it's just a cheaper ball. That's a good ball at that price point, right? Which I might like those balls too. But that's like the sweet spot. I feel like that's the kind of the sweet spot for balls, for like an average golfer. And then depending on how good you are, even the new price when you put with the new ball, then it's still a good price because it's an excellent ball, but it's cheaper than the higher, super high end balls that like whatever, like the Titleist Pro V1 or whatever. Nothing against I don't have a problem with Titleist. I'm just saying I never know to hit that ball. That was like the last thing I've been able to do. That's really cool. I mean, you guys are like always designing and developing, right? It sounds like it because it's a constant learning process, like, right? That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, no. As soon as the engineers finished the Vero X1, they
Start on the next one.
yep, literally the next day they had ideas, and that's just how their brains work. And you do always have to be innovating, and you can't just rest on on what you've done in the past. And we've been fortunate to have folks like Golfers Authority and Golf Digest give the ball.
I love your ball. I mean, I love working with you guys too. Like seriously, that's the thing, you guys. Like the people I bring on this show are for real as my friends. It's not like I bring on some random company. It's like people that I know that are friends of mine that I've worked with that are good people that have cool products. And like that's what I feel like one of the problems in the golf industry is that because I had a conversation the other day with Cure Golf Putters, and they said it was very poignant. It was like you have the big four, right? And they have these huge budgets, so you can't really hear about these new brands, these cool brands, because it gets lost in the noise. And so that's why I love about talking with people like Steve from OnCore, because like this is a freaking coolest ball. Like in the last 3 years, there's only two brands that I feel like are super innovative. OnCore is one of them, and Minimal Golf Bag's the other, because they're different and they're cool. And like I think that's what the golf needs, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen Minimal Bags, but they're sick.
Yeah, no, they're he's out of SoCal, right?
Yeah, he's a good friend of mine. Like,
Yeah,
he's cool as hell. He's on the show like I don't know, like 3 weeks ago. Actually, giving away a bag right now on the site.
Sam, right? Sam Golden.
Yeah, Sam Golden. He's cool as hell.
Yeah, no, Sam's actually one of the first people that reviewed the new golf ball, and big fan of his golf bags and his technology. And he's been really good to us as well.
Yeah, he's cool. I don't know. We just met at the PGA. Well, we met about last fall, and then we finally met at the PGA show. This is the thing people don't understand. I didn't understand when I started doing this too. I'm just a typical golfer, right? Like this was not my world in any way, shape, or form. But the golf world is very small. Like this is what I've learned in the last couple of years. So it's like, you got to feel your way through to find who you jive with. And then it's crazy. Like I talk to these people, like Steve, I probably text you like once a month, at least once a month. We talk once a month,
Yeah, I had to block you at one point now.
No, I had to block you because you're like texting me in the middle of the night and be like, hey, try out the new ball yet? No, I was kidding. You didn't do that. No, but that's the thing. Like, that's what I like about doing the show is because this is no different than the phone calls I have with my friends. I just want to I've had some of this conversation a long time ago with Steve when I didn't know nothing about OnCore. So anyways.
You're coming after Joe Rogan there, Paul.
I wish. Jeez. Wish I could make $100 million. I wish I could make $1.
One day, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm filming in my garage, so you would never think that. This is called my COVID garage. So happens when you're stuck in your house all day. No,
awesome.
Yeah. So what happened was, I don't know. I can show you. I'll show you after the show. But like, the hardest part is convincing my wife to let me put an air conditioner in my garage in Arizona. But it worked, and now she's like, "This is really nice in here," and I'm like, "I know, right?" So it's like 75 degrees in my garage. Who would have thought, right? And it's 120 degrees outside.
We just started coming back into the office, but working out of my apartment, and we've got a 1-bedroom there. And
was your girlfriend working out of your apartment too?
Yep.
Oh,
so we one of us would be in the bedroom taking calls. The other one would be in our living room /office/gym. But it was everyone else was, was in that boat that wasn't, considered essential or frontline worker. And so, so yeah, you got creative with the garage
I
space there.
did.
I had a
Well,
garage.
I'll tell you, here's the truth, right? Like, I look at my first unboxing videos. I did a good job. I felt like with but the bottom, this is wood, right? But before it was just a white wall, and I'm like, this looks like crap. Like just with the camera, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go balls to the wall. So then I like, then I put wood paneling in my garage. It's actually not even wood paneling. It's like it's vinyl, but it looks like wood. It's really nice. And then I like hung a TV. I have an arcade machine over there. That I built. Like this is my my nerd cave right here. So
All good things start in a garage, right? Apple, Microsoft, Tom
OnCore, they all do.
Brady.
No, I'm being serious. Like that's the thing. I was gonna call this like I was trying to figure out the name of the shows and like something to do with the garage because almost all brands start in a garage or a bar. A lot of brands start in a bar actually too. After a round of golf.
Yep.
So then you guys do more than just balls though. Like, don't you have that big center in Buffalo? Or what is
Yeah.
that?
It's kind of like a Top Golf 2.0. And
Yeah, tell me about it. I've seen pictures, but I've always wondered what it is.
yeah, it's a golf entertainment center, and it's a few years away. I'm just with COVID and
Yeah, it slowed down process.
delays on the whole process, but it's going to be right downtown in Buffalo, and there'll be food, drinks, and then you'll have the gaming board. And we're doing some different things around the radar tracking, and the golf balls will be real golf balls, real OnCore golf balls, which
That's
which I
cool.
think a lot of the golfers will appreciate. So yeah, it's the community has really been behind it and is excited about it.
Well, you
And
guys are really about the community too, from what I've
yeah,
understand and what I've read online.
yeah,
Like,
we're trying to be a positive force in golf and support junior golf. Support women, minorities coming into the game, and we do a lot of golf ball donations to whether it's the Western New York PGA Junior camps and leagues,
that's cool.
First Tee, and countless other organizations. The Nomads is one that we support, and yeah, just trying to do our part to make it a more inclusive and grow the game.
That's really cool. Because don't you guys have like technology too for like driving ranges? I've
We have the on range units, which are launch monitors for driving ranges, and then we built the software in an iPad format on top of the
so
launch monitor.
sick, so
And
innovative.
yeah, we're just kind of rolling out a few locations now and trying to tweak and refine it. And COVID shut down a number of those locations, but with things opening back up, we're able to kind of restart that project as well.
Yeah, so pretty much people can at certain driving ranges that you are working with, people can go. They'll hit an encore ball, right? It's a whole setup, but then there's an iPad that's with it, and then it'll tell them everything, right? So it's like a Top Golf, but at the driving range, kind of. I mean, not scoring crap like that, but it's very technologically advanced, right? It's not like a big target out in the middle of the field, like a bucket, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna hit the bucket. It's like, oh, look, it's real time data. Like, I think it's smart as hell. Like, it's a whole other market. Like, that's pretty innovative because no one does that, right? Like, honestly, I've never seen that ever in my entire life. Like, I get excited when I see a pyramid of balls. I'm like, oh, nice pyramid of balls. But and I get
Yeah,
some free teas, nice, But that's cool as heck. I mean, seriously.
yeah. It's one of the taglines was practice with a purpose. So a lot of times we just go to the range and we beat ball after ball, and you walk away and you really haven't learned much about.
Yeah, you just think about it like, what? That was a good shot, or that was crap. You like, but you don't remember what shot it was, or.
How far you hit your clubs. And then we added some gaming components so that
That's cool.
it's fun and entertaining and keep you practicing.
That's really cool. So I always ask an open-ended question. So now that the new ball's out, like is there anything else coming out this year? Or is there something that you guys gonna wait till PGA show if there is one? Or like is there any like that kind of thing? I mean, it's kind of a hard question to ask because you just released your ball like a week or two ago, right? So that was like, but is there anything else coming out this year or is that it?
The new ball was the big
Yeah,
launch.
that's what I figure.
There's a project we're working on with embedding advanced electronics, GPS, Bluetooth, magnetometer, accelerometers within a golf ball.
Holy crap.
That's been a work in progress for a few years now. It's taken longer than we expected and cost a lot more money, but yeah, we're still working on that, and we've made some good headway on that, and partnered with a company called PopStroke that does kind of high end miniature golf courses, and they had heard about the project and wanted a ball that you could use at their putt putt courses and that would keep score for you. So we built that ball, and then the full version of that would be what we're going to call the Genius Ball. So we've got I'd say 2/3 of the way there. We've got the putting and the chipping pretty much down, and we just got to figure out the driving on that.
That's insane. It's kind of like everyone, like, I always think on the back of my mind, like, oh, it'd be so cool if I had something like a ball like that. I could just find it and it would tell me, like if I hit it out, like, I don't know. We have all this technology. Like you can buy like a launch monitor or something like that. But if you actually had a ball that could sync to like your phone or your watch or whatever it is, you know exactly where your ball is and what, like, that's the next disruptive technology in golf, right? Because
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can see that would sell like hotcakes, man. Like for reals, like everybody would buy that. You know, then you throw in the
Yeah.
software to it. I don't know.
It's
That's
the holy grail, right?
it. Really
And
is. It really is.
you're seeing, electronics, outside of the golf ball, just, they're shrinking. There's the Moore's law, right? So the exponential kind of growth of the computing power of these chips, and the costs are coming down. So we're kind of one of the early pioneers in this space. But yeah, if it was easy, someone would have already pulled it off, right? So
Yeah,
um,
because I mean, like
making
you said,
progress.
things are getting smaller and cheaper to do. Technology, phones are faster. Like you don't even have you have the computing power of a phone. You don't have to design all that, right? All you have to do is design a software and an app, and really you can just focus on the ball that's going to be transmitting this information. But you're already 2/3 of the way there, like you said. You know what I mean? It's just like refining it because that right there would be the biggest game changer in golf, I think, like for reals. Because I remember as a kid thinking that, like, oh, it'd be so cool, if I could find my ball, if it went in the lake, or I don't really know. I hit the ball in the lake a
Well,
lot.
and I think too with the instruction side of it, and being able to, as a teacher, give your student one of these golf balls, and kind of see their data in real time, and be able to help them understand different kinds of chip shots, wedge shots, different trajectories, spins.
What's the ball really doing in the air? How's it, the after effect of after hitting the ball with however you swung it. I mean, you're starting to see it now. Like I love the Rapsodo unit. I don't know if you've seen Rapsodo, but that thing's freaking awesome.
That
And
is pretty cool.
and they use the computing power of the phone, but the technology is crazy awesome.
Yeah.
And seeing it now, but like if the ball could be like that too, that's a whole nother level, like, but I love my Rapsodo. If you have a Rapsodo, I'd get one. They're cool.
Yeah.
They're,
No, I tried their units at the PGA demo day. Cool
oh, that's
stuff.
cool. Oh, this last one.
Yeah, yeah. Out at Lake Nona Country Club, they were at the I think it was the media day ahead of the show.
I had Art Cho on the show. Art's the GM for North America, so he runs North America for Rapsodo, and like we had the best interview. But one thing he did, he took out his Rapsodo, he took out his phone, and he's like, "Hey, you want something really cool?" I'm like, "Sure." So he took his phone, he plugged in his computer so we could see it on the screen, and literally he walked us through all the different screens on his phone. It was sick. And the technology is amazing because you can do like GPS and know exactly where the ball lands with GPS and Google Maps. And like you can use it, he was using it in his basement. It was like, oh my God, and for $500, like think about that technology 5 years ago. That was 10 grand,
Yeah.
Well, is there anything I didn't ask you today where I should have asked you? Like, is this like, I always ask, it's a very open-ended question, but I always ask people, like, is there something you wanted to talk about or I forgot to ask you about that it'd be cool to talk about?
I would just encourage listeners to, check us out online, check the website out. We've got a pretty cool ball fitting tool on there where they can put in some information about their golf games, and then for $3.99 they can get a sleeve of our golf balls and test them out. And
That's really cool.
it's a lost lost leader for us because we lose money on the ball fitting, but it's something where we're confident that once people try the ball, they're going to come back and want to play it.
I think it's cool because it's like, hey, try us out. It doesn't cost much, and you're gonna find out which ball that we make is really good for you. And I think I love your guys' website because it's very fluid and you're able to like do. I've done that. The tool you guys have, which I think is cool. I think I always love having tools on sites because it helps out to figure out, especially with balls, because you don't know what you're going to be good for. And I believe on online stuff like online fitting and online, it all works. But
Yeah, we're adding accessories. We've got some orders in for hats, new polos, golf bags. So yeah, we're definitely expanding the accessories. We got some new golf tees and just trying to add more.
diversify. Yeah. I like your shirt. You can send me one if you want. That's a joke.
We're sold out. No, just
Oh,
kidding.
really? You're like, I'll send you a bag of teas.
We got some of the new balls. So
Yeah. I bet you're going to sell those balls real quick. I really bet you will.
yeah, they're doing well for sure.
That's cool. Well, thank you for being on the show today. I really appreciate you taking time of your busy day. Steve, is a great guy. OnCore makes seriously, it's like I said, it's one of the disruptive technologies right now in golf. Their balls are freaking awesome. Usually I know a lot of people hear about it from a friend or like, hey, what's that ball? But I'm telling you right now, like you would not be upset when you try them out because you're gonna be like, holy crap. And then just to know that like it's that innovative. I don't know. To me, that's really cool. So thank you for being on the show today. And I will text you later.
Thanks for having me on, Paul. Appreciate all you do for the golfers out there, bringing awareness to up and coming brands. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. Thank you so much.